Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks, except it's not quite World of Tanks as we here in the glorious PC Master Race know it. This is in fact once again a video submitted by one of those dirty, filthy console peasants, Sins, World of Tanks console community contributor for the EU region. Link down below in the video description to his channel. Sins was apparently so amused by my outrage in last week's World of Tanks console video that the console gets Tiger 131 and we don't, that this time he decided he could go one better, and he has submitted two battles featuring the console-only British Tier 10 heavy tank, the Chieftain. I don't even know what to say. It's just not fair. They've got the Chieftain. Look at this thing. Also, this is Airfield, by the way. It's the console version of the Airfield map. They have a nighttime version of the Airfield map, but look at these trees. Look at... There's a patch of trees on this corner of Airfield on the PC version as well, but they're not as thick and gloriously vegetated as that. What's going on? Well, it's fairly simple, really. I mean, if you're developing for a console, you know exactly how much processing power every Xbox One and every PS4 has, so you can scatter your map chock full of vegetation, confident in the knowledge that the platform can handle it. Not so on the PC. There are an awful lot of potato-powered PCs in Eastern Europe and Russia, and if you're developing World of Tanks for the PC, and that's the kind of hardware level that the majority of your market are actually equipped with, then, well, certain bells and whistles have to be skipped. And that's why you get the console version of World of Tanks looking as glorious as this, and the PC version looking... Well, it looks pretty good if you're running on maximum detail in HD, but there's definitely less overall detail on the PC version. And that makes me mad. So, well, I suppose as far as the overall graphical fidelity is concerned, you can kind of understand why the console version of World of Tanks gets so much love lavished on it. Can't quite understand why they've got the Chieftain and we haven't, however. The Chieftain has been in the World of Tanks PC game files for well over a year by now, in HD, and yet still no sign of it in the British tech tree. Why is that then? They've been threatening to unleash it upon us. At one point it was going to replace the FV215B. The FV4202 was going to be replaced by the Centurion Action 10, and at the same time the 215B was going to be replaced by the Chieftain. Well, we got the Centurion Action 10, the 4202 became a premium, still no sign of the Chieftain. And that makes me mad too, because this is a glorious, glorious tank, if the way it handles in the console version of World of Tanks is anything to go by. And if you require any proof of that claim, then just watch how these two battles unfold, as Sins puts the Chieftain through its paces. He just bounced a shot there from the T-49, camping behind the spotting rock at the far end of the airfield, and he's now squaring off against an ST-1. He does have plenty of backup, however. He's waiting for the T-49 to pop out so he can end him. Can't see how much health exactly the T-49 has remaining, we just know he's on low health. On Sins' flank you can see a Leopard prototype, and there's also a Mark 7 Centurion, both popping out and taking shots at this ST-1 as Sins pops out and immobilises him. The Leopard prototype decides to go for it, but it's a very, very thinly armoured machine, and that T-49 could do substantial damage to him. So Sins ends the T-49, then pops out and assists in finishing off the ST-1. Checks his left flank just to make sure everything's okay over there, then he guns the engine and proceeds to join the two mediums up ahead. Jagdtiger falling back, he's going to make it, but the Doom Turtle is not. Sins immobilises him, and then everybody pretty much starts farming damage on this poor Doom Turtle, piling shots over and over into his flank. Doom Turtle is down. Sins takes the kill. That's his second kill. You'll notice there are a lot of tank destroyers in this match. Yep, lots of Waffenträger E100s. The console still has that thing as well. And there's one of them, and he's just nuked the Centurion. Turns out medium tanks on World of Tanks console dislike getting shot at by Waffenträger E100s just as much as they didn't like it in World of Tanks PC. For that, you need something with a bit of turret armour. So Sins steps forward, loads the Hesh, does a monstrous amount of damage to the Waffenträger there, does get kind of unlucky with his second shot. Hesh only did 183 damage. I suspect he might have hit his gun. and possibly disabled it, but he doesn't get the third shot. However, there's plenty more targets over here, including another Waffenträger. The Chieftain, here in World of Tanks console, has the Stillbrew armour package on the front of the turret. That's 250mm of what should be spaced armour, and it's very, very well sloped and rounded. The Chieftain's hull armour on the upper glacis at the front is only 85mm thick, but look at the sloping. That's practically an automatic ricochet zone. Now, Sins just took a shot at that low health Yak target and missed. But this brings up another thing about the Chieftain. Did you see how quickly he reloaded? And this is a 120mm gun. The base reload speed of this thing is one shot every 7.2 seconds. It is absolutely ridiculous. And that's before you go adding in things like the Brothers in Arms crew skill, or premium consumables, or a gun rammer. Sins here has managed to get his Chieftain's reload down to 6.5 seconds. That's 400 damage every 6.5 seconds. And that's assuming you're not firing Hesh. So, damage per minute is, well, it's just incredible on this tank. Just to put this into perspective for you, the Mark 7 Centurion at tier 9 has a slower rate of fire with its 105mm gun that does less damage per shot than the Chieftain at tier 10 with a 120mm gun that does more damage per shot. Oh yes, and the Mark 7 Centurion is also 2 km per hour slower than this tier 10 heavy tank. The hull traverse isn't bad either. You might be sitting there thinking, well, yeah, sure, but it's a heavy tank. I mean, it's going to be sluggish and no, it's not. Look at this. Look at the speed of the hull traverse. Look at the speed of the turret traverse. This is possibly the best tier 10 medium tank in the game. Think about this. It's got a top speed of 42 km per hour. The upper glacis from the front is practically an auto bounce zone thanks to the sloping. It's got 40 degrees per second of hull traverse, 30 degrees per second of turret traverse. Sorry, is this a heavy tank or a medium? Oh, it's a heavy. It's got heavy tank hit points. Look at that. 2,200 health. I need this tank in my life on PC, and I need it now. It's a tier 10 heavy tank that can keep up with and out DPM the tier 10 mediums. It's probably just as well that this is an arcade game and not a simulator, because if they were going to simulate the mechanical reliability of the Chieftain, it would break down in 65% of the games that you played. But it isn't, so the Chieftain's fantastic. There's a little victory for Sins on Airfield. How did he do? Well, he seemed to do quite well. He did 5,200 damage of his own, 3,000 assistance damage from all the tanks he immobilised, while the mediums that he was skirmishing forward with feasted on their tiers, and blocked 1,400 damage with his turret and upper glacis armour. Do you want to see some more? Because we've got some more. And this time on a console-only map, so I have no idea where he's going or what he's doing. But this is the, and I'll have a stab at pronouncing the name, the Thiepval Ridge map. It's named after a World War I battle during September 1916, at least I assume it is. The Battle of Thiepval Ridge, I'm almost certainly mispronouncing the name, it's something in French, I don't know, was one of the British offensives during the Battle of the Somme, and resulted in a British victory. Although the victory did come at considerable cost to British and Canadian forces. They lost 12,500 men during the 2 days of the battle, and while it was a victory, the Germans only suffered around about 2,000 casualties and around about 2,300 prisoners taken. So while Sins is advancing to God knows where, because I've never seen this map before, let's just stop for a second and take in the beauty of the tank itself and the surroundings. Look at all of the vegetation, the forest. You'd never see this on World of Tanks PC. Too many people's PCs just wouldn't be able to handle this level of detail. Also, pay attention, just there it is, just over to the left. There's a machine gun opening up, a very heavy machine gun opening up. Now, you get this kind of visual eye candy in World of Tanks PC as well, but you only get it at the start of a battle, the sort of artillery preparation barrages that you see on maps like Malinovka, for example, and the updated version of Prokhorovka. But they only happen while the battle countdown is active. You never see it during the actual battle itself. And of course, that's because too many people are running World of Tanks on potato PCs, and they just wouldn't be able to handle all of the extra bells and whistles while the actual game is running and tanks are moving and shots are going out and pyrotechnics are going off. But World of Tanks console, when you're developing for a console, you know exactly what the hardware standard that every one of your players is going to have, and so you know exactly how many of these extra graphical bells and whistles you can throw in. It's almost enough to make you want to rush out and buy a PS4 or an Xbox One. Almost. You know, steady on. I'm not quite ready to hand over my... what the hell is that? There's another new tank I've never heard of before. That's a Lycan. Hang on a minute. Aren't they the werewolves in the Underworld movies? What's going on? I need to look this up. Hello? Hello? Wargaming? World of Tanks console? Yes? That's a spot of luck. I don't know what the hell I dialed. Anyway, Mighty Jingles here. I've got... What do you mean, who the hell are you? Don't you know who I am? Anyway, that's not important right now. I've got some questions for you console monkeys. What the hell is the Lycan, and why isn't it available on World of Tanks PC? Yes, the Lycan. I just saw one running around on a console map in World of Tanks Xbox One, and I have no idea what it is. What is it, and why don't I have it? Uh-huh. Yeah. Right. Well, that all seems perfectly reasonable. Thank you very much. Right. Well, it turns out that the Lycan is, in fact, a premium Tier 7 T-71 light tank that's pretty much identical in all respects to the existing non-premium T-71 light tank, except it's black, and it's a lot more expensive. And the reason we don't have it on PC is because Wargaming have already pulled that one on PC with the Black Friday sales, when they somehow managed to convince many, many people to part with an extortionate amount of money for a premium T-34 that was exactly the same as the existing premium T-34, except it was black, and it cost a lot more money. They have an inflated opinion of the intelligence of PC World of Tanks players, in that they don't think they could possibly persuade so many people to fall for the same shit twice. And that's why it's not available on PC. Apparently. So I've heard. I may have made up large parts of the preceding statement. Or did I? Yeah, I probably did. Did you see the hash damage that he just did there to that AMX-30? I think he just took off half of his health. Oh, and the T110E5 as well. Load the gold, boys! T110E5 from the flank. Terrible side armour. Hesh is going to do full damage to that and make him seriously regret his life choices. I was about to comment on the accuracy of this gun, and then that shot missed, although it seemed to sail right above the hull. Oh, and another big old shot on the AMX-30. And he's down. Can he finish off the E5? He hits him, I'm pretty sure he can. Oh, well, somebody else smacked him right before that shot impacted, but I'm pretty sure that would have finished off the E5 as well. And he's almost certainly going to finish off the T-30. Oh, yes. Shooting at the flanks of American and French vehicles with their terrible, terrible side armour with Hesh. Farm the damage, boys! But yes, the accuracy of this 120mm gun does seem to be spectacularly good, and, well, it should be, because it was spectacularly good in real life. Strangely though, the World of Tanks console Tankopedia doesn't actually list the accuracy statistics, the dispersion for this gun. I mean, you'd expect it to be good, certainly because, one, it's British, and British do tend to have accurate guns in World of Tanks, and two, this was a very accurate gun in real life, and three, we've seen the shots that he's pulling off so far in this game. And it's kind of weird because they list all of the other statistics for the gun, just not the accuracy. Not quite sure why that is. But I think that we can pretty much take for granted that this is an accurate gun here in World of Tanks. I mean, the empirical evidence would appear to suggest that claim. He hasn't missed many shots that he's fired, and those that have missed haven't missed by a lot. Leopard prototype over there. Unfortunately, he's out of Hesh. Oh, firing Hesh on a Leopard prototype. Yes, please. The other ammunition is weird, though. It seems to be two different choices of APCR. judging by the ammunition icons. Oh, IS-7. Oh, here we go. IS-7. Terrible gun depression. He's about to immobilise him. There we go. Now what's he going to do? He's never going to hit his lower glacis from here. Now there's a potential, because he's firing from a higher elevation, that he might be able to do some damage to the upper glacis, because it is only 85mm thick and relies, well, yeah, could have, should have, would have, didn't. He seemed to just insist on bouncing shots off his turret. Maybe he couldn't get the gun pointing down far enough to actually hit that upper glacis, because the upper glacis is only 85mm thick, and if you're shooting down at it from a higher angle, you will penetrate. But the IS-7 was immobilised at the top of a hill. It doesn't have great gun depression in the first place, and almost certainly couldn't get the gun pointed down far enough to shoot at anything other than that practically impenetrable turret front. And once again, I'm just sitting here in awe of the graphical detail. Oh, another waffle tractor. They do seem to be quite popular, don't they? I'll bet he's wishing he had some hesh left over now. Oh, and he's attracted his attention. And doesn't seem to take a lot of damage. He must be using the 128mm gun. But that was a penetration. Not quite sure where it hit. Unfortunately, because this is a video file and not a replay file, I can't just click the left mouse button and spin the camera around, go into free camera mode and see exactly where the shot hit. And oh wow, look at that. There's obviously a stiff wind blowing here. You can... oh, that is very pretty, isn't it? Look at the way the grass is blowing in the breeze. You can see the way the branches and the trees are moving in the wind as well, although strangely it is kind of ruined by the fact that the camp that he just drove past on the left hand side, there was a fire burning in the camp and the smoke was rising straight up. Oh well, nobody's perfect. Right, 2 enemy tanks left, and one of them is a waffle tractor. Now, this guy hit Sins earlier, and at the time I said, oh, he didn't do a lot of damage, maybe he's only using the 128mm gun, but he did about 300 damage, and the 128 would have done more damage than that. So, and, well, you can quite clearly see, looking at the gun barrel, that's the 150mm gun, and I think he must have been firing high explosive, because he hasn't got high explosive loaded now, and yeah, took off his health off. Yeah. That was definitely the 150mm gun. That was 750 damage right there. But that's it. Last enemy tank's done. So that's another convincing victory for Sins in the Mark 6 Chieftain, British Tier 10 heavy tank, only available for those filthy console peasants. That was 6,200 damage done this time, and only a second class mastery badge, which just tells you how well people are doing in this tank on World of Tanks console. 2,000 assistance damage, and brothers in arms there for Sins and his platoon. And you'll notice that Sins always platoons up with tier 10 medium tanks when he's playing this machine. That's because to all intents and purposes this is a tier 10 medium tank. It's got the speed, it's got the manoeuvrability, it's definitely got the DPM, and it's got all of that extra armour. What is not to like? Oh, I need this tank in my life on World of Tanks PC, and I need it now. Come on, PC owners, who's with me? I say we storm Wargaming headquarters, kick the front doors in, say, look, we'll pay for the damage, because, you know, we're British. Yes, I was ripping off Eddie Izzard there. I know, but hey, if it's funny once, it's funny every time. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And weren't too jealous if you're a World of Tanks PC player. And you're not going to be too smug and insufferable about it if you're a World of Tanks console player. So thank you, Sins, for sending those 2 games in. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.